Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about the Deadwood custom flashlight Huckleberry. I'll be your Huckleberry. So I think this is somehow brand named after obviously Westerns in some way. Huckleberry, I think, refers to Doc Holliday, and Deadwood used to be a show about, the West and stuff like that. So cool stuff. And I think that's kind of the inspiration there. I don't know a ton about Deadwood Customs. I do know that they're no longer around. It looks like maybe they're coming back, but they're doing clothing, something like that. I was looking at their Instagram. But their flashlight game has been dead for, it seems like, a couple years. As I understand it, there was some hit or miss customer service stuff as that was happening. I don't know full details. If anybody does, please leave it down below. I can tell you the flashlights are dead sexy. And, normally I like to have some kind of rapport with the maker so that if I have issues or whatever, I can get them addressed and all of that good stuff. But, with flashlights, it's been tough to find some things. And, this kind of popped up. A guy named Paul was clearing out his collection a little bit, and I saw it, and it just spoke to me. I love this design. It gives me some vibes of the CWF flashlights, specifically the Arcadian, and I really, 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 really want an Arcadian. It's like top of my list. I want a Hanko, but I want an Arcadian first. Let me show you. I'll grab some comparison flashlights as well here. But this is the Peanut from CWF. And basically the Arcadian is a stretched out Peanut. So imagine this stretched out to this size. Basically the same design, right? Pretty sure Charles had this design out there, the Arcadian design out there originally. But, a lot of flashlights have this sort of basic look. But man, I just really want an Arcadian, but I cannot find one. So when I saw this, I was like, hell yeah, I'm just going to get that. I did pay, I think, $460 for this. So these are not cheap. If you are interested, there are actually some of these available at Recon One. So Recon One is a knife dealer or EDC dealer, whatever you want to call it. They're not known for having the best pricing, but they do have cool stuff. And they have aluminum and titanium versions of this. The aluminum ones are plain, either stonewashed or satin. And then the titanium ones are similar to this. They just have a few lines. They're not like this ninja rope stuff. And those are $600. The aluminum are $350. And I believe they come with red or blue secondaries depending on the finish. So check those out if you're interested. They do not come with this clip. This is a Laulima Metalcraft clip. I actually had an extra because my Ion Slim had this long clip, and then I needed to switch it to a short clip to make it really work because of the ribbing on it. So they sent me a short clip, and I had this left over, and I really like their clips because they have good ramp and they have good retention. They're really well done. The clip that came with this, I've seen a few different ones on their flashlights, was this one. Very straightforward, just spring clip, just bent, clip. I think it's titanium. I don't think it's steel. It doesn't necessarily tell us, but I think it's titanium. Easily adjustable, but when I had it, and it looks fine, but when I had it in pocket, what I noticed was it didn't have much retention. The only retention you have is the retention, like this part right here touching the frame. And because it's such a thin piece of titanium, that doesn't hold down very tightly, where this is thicker. And it's just got it. I mean, you can't even lift it. This, I could just bend myself, rip it right off. So when it's in the pocket, all of this area isn't even touching material. So it just feels really loose, and I don't like that feeling. So I just threw this on. I mean, I could get away with this clip or this clip if I needed to. But I just tried that one and really liked it. I'm starting to get some parts and all types of stuff for flashlights. So I got some glow gaskets from JC Customs, which is another company I'm going to do some videos on in the future. This is the Hydra. It's a triple emitter 14500 light. So it's like, it's almost the size of an Okluma DC0, but it has a triple emitter like this, which is very cool. But you can't get secondaries, which kind of sucks. But I'm really digging it. This one's aluminum, so I'm liking that. I believe those are machined overseas, and then he does all of the finishing work and the putting it together and everything. But I'm not positive on that. This, I believe, is machined by Deadwood Customs in the U.S. Anyway, so glow gaskets. Let's talk about those for a second. That's what this is. A glow gasket is that thing I just showed you, and you put it between the optic and the MCPCB, the board there that has the LEDs and everything on it. And when you turn the light on, it charges that bad boy. And then when you turn it off, depending on how much you charged it, that kind of thing, it will stay on for a certain period of time. So right now, it's going to be hard to see because I have great lighting. You're going to see a little bit of that. It's an orangey red color that's lit up. You're just going to have to trust me on that. Maybe I don't know if I can show you in the test footage. I think I filmed the test footage before I swapped it out. But anyway, you get the idea. It glows. But it's not tritium. So it's not going to just glow all the time. You have to charge it, and it only lasts for so long. Now, this light came with a gasket installed. And at one point, I took the light apart because it was it was like fritzing out a little bit, I noticed, which means like I was on this mode and it was kind of like going like this almost, like cutting in and out a little bit. And usually when that happens, it seems like the issue is the driver is not seated all the way. So this part right here is the driver, and that's attached to that copper thing, which is called the pill. And that pill runs the whole length of here, basically. And there's wires that go from the driver through a hole in the pill. They come out the other side, and then they come out onto the MCPCB, which is the board. There's see that white piece all the way down there? That's the board that has the LEDs soldered onto it and everything. And there's connectors in there, cables that came through from the driver, right? There's a positive and a negative, and I think sometimes a ground. They go through, and then they get soldered onto the positive and negative leads or whatever, however that works. I'm not an expert. I'm just giving you a dumbed down version of this. And then you have the LEDs, and then you have secondary LEDs on the sides, right? The little ones around the sides. And then you see those three little circles? Those are actually posts that are on the optic. So there's an optic that has three little domey things and those little legs. And then the glass goes on top of that. It's not all one piece. The glass goes on top of that. So you basically are stacking a burger. You have the driver, the pill or the copper part. Then you have the board or the MCPCB, the LEDs and everything on that, the leads and everything connected on that. And then you have the optic dropped on top of that, and then the glass on top of that. And then you screw it all in, and it gets tightened down onto the O-ring at the top. And that's how it all stays in place. And you can also add a glow gasket that fits between the optic and the board, because there is a little bit of space because the optic is on little legs. And you can also drill out those little legs and put tritium in it. So that's why some will have tritium in it. Like this one actually has little tritium vials in those three little cutouts. I put a white gasket in this one. So hopefully that makes some sense. I know that was stupid. But anyway, it was fritzing out a little bit. So I took this out, basically. You just take tweezers, or I use snap ring pliers, and you twist the whole thing out. I'm not going to do it here. If you check out my video on the Pele, I did it on this one. That's how I learned a lot of this. You just unscrew it. But I did that, and I took it out. So you can see how that all fits in there and everything. And when I did, there was like this little piece of something hanging off one of the secondaries. And I honestly thought I somehow broke one of the secondary emitters. So I just kind of pulled it off and got rid of it because it was like fraying off. But then I found the glow gasket, right? And some of this might even be on camera. I think I actually did this on the live stream Thursday. It was my Christmas live stream. It's titled, "We're Opening Josh's Christmas Gifts" or something. So if you really want to see that, I had the desktop camera set up and everything when I took this apart. And I think I saw all this in that live. You have to skip through. But anyway, I took that off, and then I noticed the glow gasket that was in there was actually broken. It was like cracked on a side. I have no idea what happened. It wasn't me, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they put the wrong kind of glow gasket in when they installed the light. Because I think what I found out, the reason why I took it apart, it wasn't because it was fritzing out, actually. That happened later, I think today, because I didn't tighten it back down again after I did all this. So what happened was, I noticed the secondary LEDs, I couldn't see them. So if you notice, it's going to be hard for you to see it, but I can actually see a little red dot there's 3 of them. I can see the red dot inside of the optic, and it sits around the glow gasket. So the glow gasket has a little cutout so that the secondary light can show, and then it has a cutout for each of the primary lights too, so that the primary can show. So let me explain that better. So you see this green one? You see that little notch right there? That little notch there, and there is so that the secondary emitter can show through. And then obviously you have the holes for the primary emitters. And then these guys are for the legs on the optic. I wish I had an optic so I could show you. But if I try to zoom in, see if I can do this. If I zoom in, you might be able to see down there, there's that little dark thing. Little dark thing. Little dark thing. That's the secondary emitter. I really hate that on camera you can't see the secondaries. Is there no way to show you, like, get the angle right so you can see it? It's just stupid. Yeah, I can't do it. But anyway, you just got to trust me. Those are the secondary lights. And I noticed, because when I took this one apart and everything, I noticed that I could see all 3 of the emitters, because I put this glow gasket in here to test it, because I knew I could take this one apart because I'd done it, right, in that review. So I took this one apart, I put this glow gasket in there, and I noticed, hey, I can see every one of those emitters. How come on this one I can't? So then I took it apart on the live stream, and that's when I found that little piece on the secondary emitter, and I found a broken glow gasket in there. So I think they had the wrong one in there. And it didn't glow very well either. It would only glow for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes tops and then cut out. The ones I have here from JC Customs, he sells them on his website. They seem to do a much better job. I had a blue one last night, and that one, I swear an hour later, it was still visible to me on my nightstand. So these seem a lot better. So I installed this new red one. That's basically the long story short. I installed that, and It works really, really well. I'm also going to get tritium installed in here. I got a lot of stuff planned for flashlights. But I'm really getting comfortable taking the pill out. I did it to the Citadel. I added an orange glow gasket in this one. So if I charge this up, you'll notice that orange and red, they look very similar. This one's white, which actually I was wrong. If the person who told me in the live stream watches this, it does glow a little green. But that one's a white one technically. So I just want to show you some of the different ones here. So if I cut these out, you'll see we have a white, red, and orange. Maybe I'll cut the lights and see if it helps. See that better now? There you go. Isn't that cool? So this one's orange. Looks kind of yellow, honestly. This one's red. Looks kind of orange. And this one's white, which has like a bluish, greenish, whitish color. And they're really cool. And you don't have to use tritium, which I think a lot of people will appreciate. Here's some of the other ones. So yellow and green look almost identical to me. And then blue looks blue, obviously. So let me cut the lights back on. So that is the glow gasket thing. And I've gotten really comfortable doing it. I haven't messed the lights up. They seem to work still just fine. You know, so I would prefer to have the proper color matching the light. So like, I kind of wish this one was red because I have a red secondary, but I didn't have more red ones. So I'm kind of just working with what I can here. This one's red too, and I put in a white one. Doesn't actually matter, but hey. So 17 minutes in, I barely talked about this flashlight. I really like it. It is definitely one of my favorites that I have, and it's got a lot to do with just the design. Like I said, I love the Arcadian design. This is very similar, but the reason I love the Arcadian design is because if you look at it, it's got what you need up here with the triples and everything, but then it slims down really nicely, keeps that nice and thin. It doesn't have a bunch of like ribbing or knurling or anything. These are pretty smooth. They look cool. If you kind of do this, it looks pretty wild. And so it goes in the pocket really well. It's rounded here, and then it drops off here, and it's not crazy knurled or anything like that. So when it goes in pocket, it's very smooth. I really, really, really appreciate that because a lot of lights suck at that. Not gonna lie. Most of the lights I have are good at that. So like the Boss here has a great clip. It just slides right in, no problem. This one, because of this great clip, even though it's a little bulky of a clip, it works phenomenally well, especially with a design that has some frag on it and stuff like that. The Peanut here has a very simple sort of spring clip, but guess what? It slides right in the pocket. You have no problem with that at all. The Citadel has a milled clip, and it has a lot of milling, so it can be a little bit frustrating to get in the pocket. You do have to adjust the clip to your liking. It comes kind of tappy, but that's so it gets in your pocket easy. But I don't like tappy, so I made it tight. I made it a little too tight, so I had to adjust it back a little bit. And I got it to the point where it's tight, but if I shove a little bit, it'll pop in. But this light is just so cool that like I'm okay with dealing with that, you know what I mean? But this one just carries extremely well. And this clip really does help with that. So I love the clip. I love the carry. And then it's just an amazing cigar hold. I mean, you can grip it however you want. I like it back here. That's what she said. And you just get a great cigar hold on it. Now, I don't have a ton of information on the emitters. I don't have any, actually. I think it just says triple emitter. I think that's all it says, honestly. It doesn't say a temperature. I have a COA. I could go look for it, but it honestly does not say what the emitters are, which is really frustrating to me. It has like a date and everything. Here, I'll try to go find it real fast. This is it. So, pardon my sniffles, guys. It's just sick season here. So, it came like this. In this thing, right? And then it came with a Westy, pretty, I don't know what the hell that is, a decal or something, printed at home, and a magnet, and a COA. Emitter, triple, half twist. It was built January 29th, 2019, right before COVID. It's a CWF Dragon Huckleberry. So nice little metal card. And then it has, I mean, maybe there's more in here that I didn't even notice, but I don't think so. I'm your Huckleberry, so there you go, confirmed on that one. And then it has a CWF card because Charles Wiggins, who's the guy who designed the Arcadian I've been raving about here, it's his driver in here, the Dragon B3, so it's kind of funny. But it doesn't say what the emitters are, so I can't tell if it's a Samsung 351D, if it's a Nichia 219, if it's a X, right? It's not my favorite, I will say that. I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's around 4,000K. Like, this is 5,000 right here. You can see it's definitely a warmer light than that. This one's 5,000. That one's a warmer light, or this is a warmer light. This one's 4,500. And it seems close to that, but maybe a little warmer. I don't think they had 4,500 back then. So I think this one's a little bit cooler than this one, to my eye. So I think this is 4,000K, which I wish I had my F2 right here because I actually have one that's 4,000. But so I'm not exactly sure what's in here. I may have it switched out. I'm going to send this out to a new buddy of mine. I don't know if he wants me telling everybody, so I'm not going to. But shout out to you. He does mod work and stuff on flashlights. And I'm going to send this to him. And I think I might have him swap the emitter out to something so I just know what the hell it is. And maybe something I like. I really like that 4,500K 519A. It's really nice from Nichia. But this is fine. And it's got a good throw. It feels really good to use. I enjoy it quite a bit. I mean, we're getting to the point now, for me, where, you know, these are all very similar in how they function, how they throw light, how they flood, all that stuff. There's some minor differences. This one's got a little more of a hotspotty feel in terms of when you're outside because it's inset a little deeper, I think. Where, you know, some of these are throwing light or flooding, sorry, a little bit more. You know, but they're all very similar. They're just very similar because they're triple emitter 18350 lights with a very similar body and head and everything, and that's just what you're going to get. So talking about how it looks and all of that is very, you could watch any one of my triple reviews and you'll kind of get the point. I like it. It's my jam. I think this is my size range now. I think 18350 is my jam. I really want to try a DC1 from Okluma. I really want to try a Henko. But there are some other things I want to try, like Sigma and stuff like that. There's definitely stuff that's not just triples that I want to try. I really wanted to try this Hydra, and I'm glad I got to check this out. You know, just really cool to have it in a small package like this. But this is another one that I don't think I love this beam. I think they listed at 5,000 K, but it looks way warmer than that. I mean, look at that. Yeah, this looks cooler than this one. And this is supposed to be 5,000, at least according to the website. So I think this might be really like 4,000. Maybe this is 4,500. But then this could be the Samsung emitters, and that's where tint comes into play, and it just throws a wrench in everything. So anyway, I really like the Deadwood is what I was getting at. I love how it feels in the hand. That's the biggest thing for me on flashlights now is how do they carry? How do they feel in the hand ergonomically when I'm using them, right? And then how hot do they get? Is it annoying? This one, I believe I put it on turbo and I just kind of left it in the kitchen on to use as illumination and forgot about it because I got caught up with something. And I saw it step down after a minute or so, which I think is probably pretty average. I've just never left something on high that long before. But it's good to know that these drivers are smart enough to handle that, where it'll just start cutting down power until it cools off, which is what you want. You don't want it to just fry itself. But yeah, I don't need to talk about programming because I have a whole video on the Dragon Driver V3. That's what this has. So you basically just tap 15 times and hold down the tap, and then you'll cycle through. You can either change modes, you can turn memory on and up, you can turn off the reversing options. I always turn those off. They're like these special modes where you get turbo and strobe. I always turn that off right away. And then I set the same mode on every light. Low secondary, and then it's like 5%, 15, 35, and 100. And that's what I have on every one of these triples that have the Dragon Driver. This one's a new Quantum Dragon, so I actually think it's different. But I have the green, and then I think I have 3 modes on this one. So that's actually different, but this one will be the same. So, yeah. Deadwood, Huckleberry. So let me know what you guys think. Again, if you want to pick one of these up, you can. Check out Recon 1. That's the only place I've seen them, and I'm guessing that's just dead stock. Once those are gone, they go on. The titanium, oh, I should have mentioned that. This is titanium, obviously, and the weight is amazing. It's a little weird because at first you're like, man, it's really head heavy. Like it just, right, that head weighs a lot. And that's not just, you know, that's compared to other titanium lights. Like these are both titanium, but I think because of how slim this portion is, it makes the head just feel head heavy, more so than others. Like this has it a little bit too, but it's so short that it kind of helps with that. This has it a little bit. They're all going to have it a little bit because all the weight is up there with the copper and everything. But this one specifically just feels a little bit like a club. But I like that. I got used to it, and I really enjoy it in the hand. It just, I don't know, there's just something about how this one feels in the hand that I really like. So, yeah, I love you guys. Check out the test footage here, and I will catch you later. Peace. Kev here, and I am doing some flashlight testing. So for this one, I have the Deadwood Customs flashlight here. Not gonna lie, can't even remember the name of the flashlight right this second. It's pretty unusual for me, but hey, I have a lot of flashlights right now. Really digging this one. We have these red secondaries, and then it has this glow gasket in it, so you can charge it for a little bit and then turn it off, and you'll see that orange glow in there. I don't know why they did an orange one with a red secondary, but maybe they don't have red glow gaskets. I'm told that the newer glow gaskets they hold brightness a little bit better, where these older ones may not. This is from like 2018 or 2019, so I'm just gonna walk around a little bit here. Here is our red secondary. I can't see it at all. You guys can see it out there. It's not showing for me. I have to get all the way down like here to see it, so just for reference, I guess. But I'm gonna toggle over here. So now we're on 5%, and this is pretty good. I mean, if I was just walking around or something, walking the dog, this would be just fine. But it's still not very bright. And again, disclaimer, in person, it is way dimmer than it looks to you. Here is 15%, which is definitely much better. Now I'm able to see this whole playground really, really well. Again, if I was walking a dog or something, this would probably be the setting I would use. At night, and when I'm going to bed in the bathroom, we have a really loud auxiliary fan, or whatever you call that. And so I usually turn the light off and use, because the way they rigged, the way they wired it in our house, the light and the fan turn on with the same switch, and you can't put one or the other on. So I have to just turn them both off, and then I use a flashlight tail stand. And this one was really good. I had it on this setting last night in there, and worked really well for it. Did heat up quite a bit, but I had it on for 10 or 15 minutes, I think, while I was dicking around. So that's 15. This right here is going to be 35. So I think we're going to jump to 100 after this. But you can see from a distance here, you know, we're doing pretty well. You can see that whole tree lit up. Looks good. We're not getting a ton of, you know, throw. This is a EDC light, triple emitter EDC light. Walk out here a little bit. You see that smoke in the back? Those are the Limerick smokestacks. Look over at this field. My hands are freezing. Of course, I had to wash my gloves tonight, and they weren't dry when I needed them. So just ordered a second pair so that never happens again. Can barely see that soccer net in person, but kind of make it out. Not really getting to those trees. So let's kick it up. And yep, that was 100%. And now we're cooking with gas. I mean, that thing is lit up over there. We can hit those trees over there, probably, you know, 50 yards away, something like that. Get that guy right there. So, you know, not crazy, but for a triple emitter, little EDC light like this, I think it does really well. Got the truck there again, like 50 yards away. That whole playground. And she's not really that warm. I mean, we're out here in 30-degree weather, so that helps. And there you can see that glow gasket going at it there. So what I'm going to do now is set this up for you, and then I'm going to walk away, and we're going to, sorry about the motion here. I didn't set this up right away. I should have done that. Sorry. And all right, sorry. So I'm going to set you up, and then I'm going to walk away and show you what it looks like when somebody's, you know, at a distance or whatever. It might be a little easier to see that way. So here we go. I'll start with secondary red. And you might be able to hear me, you might not. Here's the red. I'm gonna kick it over now. 5%. All right, there we go, guys. That is the Deadwood Customs. Really happy with this one. Really glad I picked this up secondary. Kind of a shame to see these companies kind of disappear, but it is a very cool light. So yeah, thank you for checking it out. Love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.